Oh, bless his name. You can be seated. If you can. Hallelujah. Oh, blessed be the rock. Blessed be the rock. David said, but even when my enemies and my foes, they came up against me, stumbled, and they failed. I believe that God will put one angel in front of your enemy that'll stick his foot out. And he'll send another one behind him to push him down. When it seems that there is no way out for you, you find yourself in a God situation. If you could get out on your own, you wouldn't need God. God lets the devil set up God's situations for him. Amen. He lets him do things that you couldn't fathom being saved that would ever happen to you. But just because you get saved doesn't mean God stopped being your God. Amen. He was even your God before you got saved. Oh, yes, he was. Thank you, Father. When you were in your foolishness, going places that you shouldn't have gone, doing things that you should not have done. Turn that fan off me a little bit, please. It's going to shut me down. God was still working on your behalf. Some of you, the enemy has been trying to take you out even from the womb. Your mama had to struggle with the birth that even when she carried you. Some of you, the enemy forced into a premature birth, trying to take you out. But there's something about when God has favored your life. When God has favored your life and given you an appointment with destiny, there's nothing that the devil can do to stop you. Y'all don't hear me. I don't know who God's talking to right now, but I just want to tell you, if I could revisit something I said just a few minutes ago, stay in line. Stay in line. Your turn is coming. Your turn is coming. How many of you believe that God has a blessing in store for you? Got 5 folk that believe it. Until you begin to have expectations of God, there's nothing that challenges your faith to believe it. When you have an expectation of God, the Bible says this, is that he will give you the desires of your heart. I tend to read it a little bit differently than I think some folk do, because I believe that God gives you what to desire. When you align what you desire up with what God desires for you, y'all don't hear that. The reason the enemy could not keep the land of Israel is because it is a land that God desired for them. God then placed a desire in them to be in that land. Even though it came under enemy occupation, God would run the enemy off to give them their desire, the desire that he gave them. He told Abraham, I'm going to give you everything that you can put your foot on. Some of y'all don't do enough walking. Do a lot less talking and do a lot more walking. The Bible says the steps of a righteous man are ordered. What that tells me is that they are ordered, they are accomplishing the purpose of God. See, I know my head is hard. So that's why I say, God's talk to my feet. So that if my head is not listening, maybe my little toe, my big toe, my middle, maybe one of them will listen to what God is saying. And I'll trod in the direction that God would have me to go in. How many of you have walked into some things that you didn't plan? Wonder how you got there. You think it was by somebody the other day told me, you sure are lucky? No, I told her I rebuked it quick. I wasn't lucky. I'm favored. Oh, hallelujah. Y'all say that shows you sound arrogant. Yes, it does. Yes, it is. When I'm talking about God and how he is to me, I think that that's one time that I can boast, that I can brag, I can be arrogant, I can pop my own collar and say, yes, he is. Not because of me. Not because of me. But it's because of what's already been done for me. And I made up my mind to stay in line. Hallelujah. I got some preaching to do. Got any visitors? Wait a minute. Got any visitors? First time visitors? God bless you, brother. Amen. God bless you, sister. Sit back there. God bless you, sir. God bless you all. I'm so glad to have you here with us today at the Ministries. We know that you're not here by accident, but it's because of God's divine plan and appointment for your life. And we decree in Jesus' name that you won't leave the way that you came. Come on, Consuming Fire. God bless you. God bless you. A little housekeeping. If you see on the programs, I hope the pictures came out. They're in black and white. But you can sort of see, we're trying to keep the vision before you. I'm trying to give you some progress as to where we are. On yesterday, I was there with them all day as they were putting in our parking lot stripes and getting all the lines marked in. If you can see, it looks a whole lot better. And for some folks that's been worried me about those bathroom petitions, as you can see, the bathrooms are in. Amen. And I ain't gonna call your name. I ain't gonna call your name. What kind of pastor would I be if I call your name? Amen. People can think whatever they want. Hallelujah. Give our kids a hand. Are awesome. Now give our awesome youth workers a hand. Our youth workers are awesome. Amen. They're always coming up with ways to what I call to interject God into them. They have fun doing it. The kids have fun. And I think that those are memories that will become etched in their spirit, that even if they thought that they could leave God, they're going to know too much about Him. They're going to know too much about Him. Church, listen to me, and I'm going to get into the Word. Probably won't finish this message. I wanted to preach it next Sunday, but God impressed it upon me to preach it this Sunday because it's one of those kind of first Sunday messages. But God said, preach it today. But listen to me, is that when our kids these days have so many things that they are challenged with. The world loves its own. And you can see that it is more evident now than it was when those people that are my age, at least 35 or younger, people that are my age, that we did not have the same amount of darkness to contend with that they do today. We're in an information age. We're in an age to where electronic devices are the order of the day. The other day, saw a little kid, probably 4 or 5 years old, had her cell phone. The only thing that concerns, well, not the only, but one of the things that concerns me is in this age of information, you have to be discerning and you have to come to a place of knowing that everything that you see or hear on these devices is not gospel. It is not the truth because it is in print. It does not make it true because they say it over and over again. The truth is just the truth. It matters not that the world embraces the things that God are against, and we feel that we have graduated to a point now to where we are able to negotiate away the Word of God. Church, we can't do that. We can't do that to appease people and to fill up seats and just to make sure that we got a crowd. We can't do that. We have a responsibility and an obligation to feed people truth. God did not call me to be light. He didn't even call me, I want you to love me, but he didn't call me to make you love me. He called me to make you love him, to teach you about him. He said, learn of me. He said, oh, taste of. Not me. Not me. I want you to love me. I want you to like me. I want you to say nice things about me. But if the truth of God offends you, then I'm not going to make an excuse to make you like me. It's not my job. I see too much liberality and too many concessions that are being made today by those that are supposed to be gospel preachers. And we tend to think the more prominent they are, that there is more validity that is given to the words that come out of their mouth. Let me explain this to you. It makes no difference how tall their stature is. It makes no difference how big their congregation is. If it is not truth as it pertains to the Word of God, it does not matter who it is. It could be your favorite preacher. I'm sure he said a lot of good stuff to become your favorite. But if your favorite error, don't follow him off a cliff. Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ. Christ holds the key to eternal life. Not a man. We have kingdom keys because he says, I'm going to give you kingdom keys. But I can't give you eternal life. I can't give you eternal life. And any key won't get you in the kingdom. Do you realize that? I can hand you all of my keys, and none of my keys will fit your house. You know why? Because they are false keys as it pertains to your house. It's a key, but not the right key. We today will accept any kind of key. Let folks tell us anything. And we want to be loved, and we want to not be criticized. The truth can stand to be criticized. Do you hear me? They tried to kill the truth, but in 3 days. Just stay with the truth. Amen. Amen. Turn with me, if you will. I'm just going to start on this now, prayerfully finish it next Sunday. There has to be something in this that God wants somebody to hear today. Turn to Hebrews chapter 9. Verse 12 through verse 15. When you have it, say amen. He says, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us. For if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of an heifer, sprinkling the unclean, sanctifieth to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God. And for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. And the church said, Amen. Amen. I want to take forethought very briefly. Redemption. Redemption. The word redemption means to repossess or repurchase. It many times refer, if any of you have had an occasion to deal with the pawn shop, when you would pawn it, you would go back in and redeem it. It is a pledge against a debt. It means to rescue. It's deliverance. It's a release. It's an emancipation. It's recovery. Ultimately, it means salvation. When we think about when something is possessed or has been possessed by one that it did not originally belong to, the only way that that person can get it back is through repossession. If you know that you've seen people that have had the misfortune of having what they call their home repossessed. Well, in this instance, what it tells you is that it was never yours first anyway. The bank repossessed it because they are the ones that actually paid for it. Do you understand? When we understand the plight of man and what has happened to humanity, it is that Adam and Eve once possessed a relationship, an intimacy with God that belonged to them and that belonged to God. But you can see how the enemy came in. And he didn't come in to take trees from the garden. He didn't come in to take animals or to steal any of the livestock. What the enemy was mostly concerned with was that he would take the possession that they had that was more valuable than anything else in the garden. That was their relationship. But what he realized was this, is because they owned it, and that God would come down and check on them on a daily basis to make sure that they were still in his possession and he in theirs. He devised a scheme by which he would be able to cause them to pawn it or to freely give it to him, because he knew he didn't have the power to take it. They had to hand it over to him. Church, there are so many things in your life that you think the enemy took from you. Yeah, he may have tricked you out of it, but he didn't possess the power to take it from you. You had to enter into agreement with him in order for him to possess it. There are some things that don't get in your house unless you leave the door open. Y'all ain't listening to me. When I was growing up as a youngster, they would always tell us to close that screen door. That I don't want them flies in my house. See, a lot of us have gotten some flies in the house, and the problem is how you get them jokers out the house. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of those flies flyers, some of them, they got a fast lifespan. They don't stay long. But some of them flyers then turn to buzzers. Y'all don't hear me. But the enemy tricked Adam and Eve out of their inheritance. He tricked them out of who they were, and to where they no longer possess the same relationship that God desired for them to have with him. But here, as we come down through the annals of time, we'll see that God had a divine plan for man even before he went into a possession state by the enemy. God says, I already got a repossession plan that's going to be in place. The Bible says this. It says that Jesus was the slain lamb before the foundation of the world. What it tells me is that there would have been no reason for a slain lamb. Would have been no reason for the blood of Jesus, except God already foreknew that we were going to find ourselves in a predicament, and we would not have what it would take to get us out of the pawn shop. If you've been around any pawn shops, you go in there and you see that a lot of folk never came back and got their stuff. They never came and redeemed it because they felt as if it was no longer of value to them, and they felt it had been there so long now that surely they have sold it and they have gotten rid of it. But I want somebody to know today, I don't care how long you've been in the mess that you're in. I don't care how long the enemy has tried to trick you that it's too late for you now. It's no way now. You've done some damnable things. I came to let you know that redemption is available to you. Here he wrote, he says, having obtained eternal redemption for us. You got to read the Word of God and take it at face value and extract from it the revelation that is given that's for our edification. He said that there is an eternal redemption for us. I don't know if you understand, but eternal redemption is the redemption that means that it has no end to it. It means that it will never run out. There is an eternal redemption that God has given to the people of God. Even when the children of Israel would err and when they would go their separate ways, God had already given a word on their behalf. He had already told Abraham that Abraham, I'm going to bless your seed. Abraham, I'm going to be looking out for them even when they don't look to me. That I'm always going to be the shepherd over Israel. Isn't it good to know? Isn't it wonderful to know that even when you make missteps, that God is still looking out for you? Somebody ought to just say thank you. He says that he said, for the blood of goats and of the ashes of the heifers and the sprinkling the unclean. He said the sanctifying to the purifying of the flesh. Those things that were done under the old covenant were only meant to clean up our flesh. It's like going home taking a bath. You go home and take a bath and hopefully knock some of the day off of you, knock some of today's dirt off of you. And then you put on your nice clothes and people see you on the outside and they say, oh, don't you look good? But little do they know what is on the inside. The Bible says that we can be like dead men's bones. The Bible says that the heart is evil and it's wicked. He says, who can really know it? He said, out of a man's heart flows the issue of life. Have you ever had somebody that was looking good on the outside and then something came out of their mouth that changed your entire opinion of them? Maybe I've seen some nice looking females, but then when they open their mouth, they no longer look good because the ugliness that came out of them. Seen some handsome men, they were dressed decked out from head to toe, but then when they open their their mouth, that was on the inside, began to let me know that their inside was not as clean as the outside. But I know a God that's able. I know a God. He's able to clean you up. He said that all Israel would become clean before God. They would become clean by the killing of the goats. What God was doing, that he was laying down a pattern for them. He was teaching them that it's going to take blood to pay the price, or to pay the debt of sin. He allowed the sheep and the goats and the heifers to be slain in order that they could give a covering. How many of you realize that when you have something in the pawn shop, they'll let you pay on it? You ain't got to pay it all at once. But then did you ever realize that even if you paid on it, the interest was still going up on it? You see, all this did was pay down on it. All it did was to keep them from calling you, and you was trying to pay it off, but you couldn't pay it off. I heard in the word of God what God told Isaiah. He said, run to and fro through the streets and see if you can find me a man. And when the prophet came back, he said, I can't find nobody that can be a repairer of the breach and one that can make up the hedge. The reason that he couldn't find anybody is because only one thing could pay off the sin debt. It had to be blood that had no sin. It had to be blood that man had never touched. It had to be blood that could satisfy. It had to be pure blood. The blood of Jesus was not like the blood of sheep or goats. It was the precious, unadulterated, unfouled blood of the Lamb. He said, how much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot or wrinkle. If you notice, he moved man off of the scene. And he makes it very plain that Jesus' blood was not the product of a man and a woman, but it was the Holy Spirit of God that rested upon Mary. And the Bible says that that's when she conceived. See, that's something about the blood. It's something about how Jesus got here that confused the enemy. Because every other man-child that had come into the world, Satan already knew that he may be the Redeemer. But when I check his record, I see that there is sin on him. He tried to kill Moses because Moses was a deliverer. God had Moses cited to do a great work, but Moses couldn't redeem man. Moses could simply bring about a leader that God's people needed to walk them out of Egypt. But when Satan checked Moses' record, he breathed a sigh of relief, because on his record he found that Moses had been a murderer. Somebody said you can check Moses off. Even though he was a great man, he had a staff that when he threw it down, Pharaoh's snake got swallowed up by Moses' staff. He had a staff that when he touched the Red Sea, that it turned to blood. He did great things. He was a great man. When he walked up to the Red Sea parted before him. But when I check his record, it is good that I can see now that he has a stain on his record. I'm looking for somebody that can pay the debt that has did no sin, and neither was that gal found in his mouth. That's the only one that can pay the sin debt. Isaiah could have been a candidate, but even Isaiah said, don't look at me. Yes, I've been in the throne room. I've had my mouth touched with the coals from the altar, but don't look at me to be your savior, because when I walk before him, I had to cover up my own mouth. Y'all ain't gonna let me preach.
I can't be the one. But Isaiah wrote in Isaiah 9:6, he said, for unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given. He said, and the government shall be on his shoulders. He's going to be the Redeemer. I can't redeem you, but I can tell you.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah, God. It was going to take the eternal spirit that was mixed with the blood of Christ that was going to redeem man. He says in verse 15, and for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions. Let me just stop there for a moment. You see, each testament, you can't have a testament until there is some bloodshed. You can't have a testament if you know anything about a will. You say, call it your last will and testament. It means that you have set in order prior to your death. It means that there are some things that cannot be altered. They cannot be changed after the death. Jesus laid the groundwork. He said, I didn't come, God, to do away with the old, but I came that the old might be fulfilled. So here we find Jesus now. He's holding the old in one hand and the New Testament in the other. He's bridging the gap. He says that even you as Gentiles, that there was no possibility, there was no way for you to be redeemed from your sins. But now you can be, because I am the God of the world. He said the world is mine, and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. I came to let somebody know, no matter how bad you've been, Jesus can be your God. I came to let you know that the blood still works. I came to let you know it's still room at the foot of the cross. Somebody ought to say that. Said that for the redemption, please move that fan. He said for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament. You see, we were transgressors. We were transgressors of the law. We were the enemy against God. And because we were his enemies, but the Bible says that even when I was an enemy, that he still loved me. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever would just stay in life, if I would just love him, if I would just bless him and call upon that great name, that whosoever that calls on the name of the Lord, that they could be saved. It doesn't matter how deep the hole you're in, if you will call on the name of Jesus. It doesn't matter how bad you've been, if you would just call